Speaking of Kildare, obviously disappointing result for them away to Fermanagh, 2-10 to 12 points. I was watching this game on GA Go, watched about the first 40, 50 minutes or so. Yeah, like just madness really from Kildare. Like they didn't have a single point from play in the first half. Fermanagh looked very, very comfortable for large parts. Like I suppose again we were talking about Loud maybe being a little bit disrespected and everything else, and I suppose Sean Kavanagh was alluding to it a little bit on the Sunday game, sort of last night, saying that, you know, have people even watched Fermanagh play before, like in terms of, you know, everyone who's predicting them to get relegated, which I'm pretty sure was all three of us. But yeah, like first of all, Fermanagh, like you do have to give them a lot of credit, like coming up from Division 2 with the quality of this division, point away to Meath and 2 points here as well. Matthew, could Fermanagh stay up? Do you think do they have a chance to stay up in this division now?
I think they certainly have a chance to look at the performances of the first 2 games. And this is the first full game I've watched for Fermanagh since the Division 3 final against Cavan last season in Croke Park. And I was thinking, why did I predict them to finish 8? Seriously, like you look at some of these players. Sean Cassidy was brilliant. I know there was a lot of people crying over the missing of Sean Quigley, the 2 Jones brothers, and Ryan and Conal. They would have been big losses to any team. But Sean Cassidy stepped up. He's the top scorer for play across all 4 divisions with 2 goals and 3 points so far in 2 games. He's done absolutely outstanding. And 1 point in particular, it wasn't a point that he scored, but Lee Cullen's point in the first half. He was surrounded by Kildare players, but he plays it in to Lee Cullen, who's in open space. Brilliant bit of smart play. And he's definitely a player to watch in the league campaign. Declan McCusker played brilliant as well. Ryan Bogue in goal did absolutely brilliant. And I know Sean McNally's done well over the last few seasons for Fermanagh, but they know 2 very good goalkeepers as well. So I think it's Ross Bogue is his name, and apologies to Fermanagh fans. But Shea Cullen had a very good performance, Lee Cullen as well. Look, Fermanagh seem to be motoring on very nicely. Stephen McGullion as well at centre back. And yeah, really, really good performance by Fermanagh. And they looked really energetic. They looked up for us. And they're going to be a very difficult team to break down for any team going to Brewster Park or Dorley. And really, really good performance from them. But the big question about Fermanagh, and I'd ask this to Fermanagh fans, how on earth did you lose to Antrim and Laois last year and draw to Wexford, did so poorly in the Tailteann Cup, and now do well in Division 2? It actually doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know, did Fermanagh actually down tools for the Tailteann Cup? I don't know what was the issue there, but make no mistake about it. If Fermanagh tried their utmost for the Tailteann Cup last year, they would have gone damn close to winning it.
Yeah, that's it, Andrew. Like when you were saying why did we pick them to finish 8th, it's because of all of the above that you listed.
Yeah,
I thought they were of a lower level than because of previous performances. Like the loss to Laois and the way they went out was pathetic. Like it was genuinely like that they didn't care, and like you have to question like where was those performances in the Tailteann Cup? Did they not, because they could have got there. Like Antrim, pushed Meath all the way in the semi-final of the Tailteann Cup. Would that be something that they look at and think like if they had won that and maybe won the Tailteann Cup, they'd be in Meath's position where it doesn't matter what happens, they're in the All-Ireland Championships anyway.
That's the thing. Yeah, definitely. And
Aaron O'Neill, yeah.
Moving on to
that was a mad one. Yeah, I was very surprised when I saw that. Yeah, because I remember he played against Dublin a few years ago. He was the goalkeeper.
He played against Dublin. It was like the fella just had been tasked with taking as many risks as possible. Like the fella was taking the most audacious kickouts and moving as far out with the field and then doing dummy solos and everything out the field. Like he's a very enjoyable goalkeeper to watch. But I was surprised, like when you look at the mistake that Mark Donnellan made for the goal, like Donnellan's had that position on lockdown for years, and Aaron O'Neill's been waiting in the wings. Like, I mean, when you see the absolute size of Aaron O'Neill, like maybe he told Glenn Ryan that he wanted to play, and you see the absolute size of Mark Donnellan. Maybe Mark Donnellan said that he wasn't going to accept being dropped, so in order to make them both happy, he put Aaron O'Neill outfield.
Yeah, and then obviously took him off, I think, at half time as well. So yeah, it was a bit of a mad one. But to be fair, I don't know. He probably plays midfield with his club, or probably plays as an outfielder with his club. I'm not entirely sure.
I remember Paddy O'Rourke for Meath played outfield one year. Do you remember Paddy O'Rourke played in goal for Meath 2012-ish? And then they put him outfield for 1 year and it didn't work, and they put him straight back into goal.
Yeah, or a bit like Joe Sheridan, the reverse. He put him as backup goalkeeper for Meath, which was a little bit mad. I should go outside, says Kildare, where Putrid look like they are being coached by this interested substitute teacher. No variety in attack, passive in defence. Fermanagh were good and won at a canter. Yeah, shame. It's like, what on earth is going on with Kildare at the minute? Obviously, opening defeats to both Cavan and Fermanagh, two sides promoted. It's a bit mad with Kildare because they've had plenty of underage success in the last few years. They do have great players in their county. I'm very well sure of that, but they just seem an absolute mess. And Meath played in the Tailteann Cup last year. You could very well see Kildare in there, to be honest with you. They're on a one-way ticket towards Division 3 at this stage. It's going to be very hard, in my opinion, to see them getting out of this.
Yeah, they're the most frustrating team in the country to watch. It's because there's no doubting the ability that's there. We've all seen Daniel Flynn. We've all seen Jimmy Holland. We've all seen Kevin Flynn. We've all seen Mick O'Grady. Derek Irwin. These guys are cracking footballers. And when people talk about Monaghan overachieving and Louth overachieving and everything like that, they take absolutely nothing away from those counties for overachieving, but it just highlights more and more that there's no excuse for how off the pace Kildare are. They're doing everything right up until the under-20 cut-off point, where then they're supposed to go to senior. And it's like they didn't finish building the bridge to All-Irelands. It's I don't know why they haven't been able to put them into a cohesive team. Kevin Feely's getting a good crack at the whip. That's probably the only positive to take from the opening 2 league games, is that Kevin Feely's getting some proper game time now at midfield. But yeah, it just doesn't really make sense. And they are going into the Tailteann Cup because Meath are safe. So it's and then the question is, and then you look at Munster, Cork are on the same side of the draw as Kerry. So there could be an absolute bloodbath there in Division 2 for teams that stay up, but also go into the Tailteann Cup anyway. Because if Meath get relegated, well, that means that whoever finishes 6th is, in the Tailteann Cup. And if Cork, get knocked out by Kerry, well then, and then if Clare and someone like that gets into the Munster final, well then Cork are in the Tailteann Cup as well if they get relegated. So it's just a bizarre situation unfolding in front of our eyes, where we could genuinely see 3 giants of the game relegated or in the Tailteann Cup. And for Kildare, it's a really, really frustrating one, because there's no real excuse as to why they haven't been able to put together all this talent into a cohesive team. It's an era, very much an era for Kildare of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Once they do something right, they lose 3 games in a row. And then they'll have a good performance against Dublin, and then they'll lose a game that they never should have lost. They seem to pull it back at stages last year. The performance against Dublin and Leinster was good. The performance against Monaghan was good, but they lost. It's just, I'd just be very frustrated if I was a Kildare fan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And for any Kildare fans watching, let us know your thoughts on Kildare football at the minute. Obviously a lot of sort of mad tweets and everything else. Few people saying Glenn Ryan should go now, and other people maybe coming out with some outlandish comments. I know I've been a little bit critical of Kildare, but I think it's the same.
They should hold off and wait for Davy Burke. That's what I would think.
Would he leave Roscommon though to go to Kildare? I don't think he would now, unless things went poorly with Roscommon, or he's there 3-4 years. But I couldn't see Davy Burke leaving Roscommon now. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. It is a sticky one, no question about it.
It definitely is. And another thing as well, Glenn Ryan came for a lot of flack last year for his comments about Dublin and Croke Park. This was the year to back them comments up, and they haven't done it so far. That's the most frustrating thing for Kildare. And as well as that, you mentioned Derek Huron there. He didn't actually play against Fermanagh. They apparently, according to the commentators at BBC Northern Ireland, they actually rested him because he was playing Sigerson Cup for Maynooth University. And I'm thinking, you're in big trouble here, lads. If you lose this game against Fermanagh, you're in big trouble of going down to the Tailteann Cup of Division 3. Why are you resting him at this stage? He's your best forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, is the oomph there for Kildare? And no score in the first half from play was absolutely baffling. And in the first 20 minutes of start as well, they would boil Kildare's fans' brains. From play, they took one shot from play after 20 minutes. And that was a shot that dropped short from Ben McCormick. That's horrendous.
That's bad.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad for me.
It's bad. The other thing as well is they have Armagh next. Like,
yeah.
where are these points coming from? Seriously, like, where are these points coming from?
Cork.
I don't think they're like. Sure, Cork beat them last year and beat them easy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'd still think that'll be a draw. I'd say.
It's just frustrating. Both teams lose. Like,
yeah. Who knows? You could be getting used to each other. I mean, could be an Tailteann Cup classic coming, but maybe on that, you know, like maybe like Tailteann Cup is maybe something that Kildare actually need, to be fair, because we saw obviously with Meath last year, and I know they probably haven't had the best start to the league either, but a lot of younger players like Colm O'Rourke really changed it up and brought in a whole new team, and obviously with Kildare, like they do have a good bunch of under 20 lads there. So maybe Seamus, like that could be something that Kildare could do. Like if they do go down to the Tailteann Cup, and I do necessarily think that might actually be weirdly a bit of a positive maybe for Kildare. Like, but I suppose it's one of them things if it goes wrong as well, and they struggle in that. But what do you think?
Well, that's it, because as we said, like, who ends up there with them? If Cork end up there with them, if Cavan end up there with them, if Fermanagh end up there with them and they beat them, like, not only then did they end up in the Tailteann Cup, but they didn't even win it. Because for me, the only way that was kind of excused for Colm O'Rourke was, okay, well, at least you won it. And, you won a great final and everyone was delighted and, what a great day out. And like, but Down could be in it next year. Like, there's just there's a lot of teams in there that are going to be right on Kildare's tail in terms of ability. And the thing is that Meath did turn it around. Meath did turn their performances around, because a lot of people kind of say, oh, well, Meath went into the Tailteann Cup and, well, they were always going to win it, weren't they? Not really. Like, they got stuffed by Offaly in Leinster and got knocked out. Like, Meath only scored, I think it was 1 point or 2 points in the first half against Offaly. Like, they really played badly in that game. So it wasn't a guarantee that they were going to win the Tailteann Cup. But O'Rourke turned it around, got a lot of debuts in, got a lot of confidence in that team, and they went on then to win the Tailteann Cup, which was, had a glorious finish and a great win over Down. And then the photo with O'Rourke and Sean Brennan and everything, Sean Boylan, it really felt like everything was turning in the right direction for me. For Kildare, if they win the Tailteann Cup, it's a sunshine day out in Croke Park where they can get some good vibes around the county team again. But it's a terrible start to the league. And I don't think any Kildare fan will actually sit there and think, yeah, I hope we lose our next few games so that we go down to Division 3.
Yeah.
Because you weirdly wouldn't be 100% confident that Kildare will come straight back up. Because I genuinely mean this. They went from being a team that were very unlucky to go down from Division 1 to a team that were very lucky to stay up in Division 2. So what we've established here, if Kildare played to their best of their ability, if they had their best 15 lads out, if they had Daniel Flynn, like Ben McCormack, Dara Kirwan, Neil Flynn, Kevin Feely, all singing from the same hymn sheet, and they had the likes of James McGrath, Jack Robinson bursting into the team, they would be pushing for promotion from Division 2. Bare minimum. So what we've established here is that Kildare's issue isn't where they are in the division. Kildare's issue is they cannot get the best performances out of themselves right now, which translates to playing any team. You will struggle to beat any team that you come up against. But it's been an issue with Kildare for the last few years. Like 2018, they lost to Carlow. Like, that's how far back these issues have been going on. So you do have to question, is it a group mentality thing? Is it the players? Like, is it the players? Is there a bad attitude in the camp that leads to players like a James McGrath, who, you know, is under 20 footballer of the year, coming through and saying, actually, no, I'm going to go traveling?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Like, is there a bad atmosphere around the camp, which then Glenn Ryan starts pointing at anything and everything to deflect away from his players?
Yeah,
because Daniel, to add on to that, Daniel Flynn's in, then he's out. He's in one game, he's out the next. Like, there seems to be a lack of, you know, commitment there.
Yeah, it is mad, all right. And I seen Conor McKenna made had a good tweet earlier, and he was comparing it to Derry, sort of, who had a lot of underage success for a good while, but their senior team was just an absolute mess. And you know, they went down as low as Division 4. Like, they were a Division 4 team back in what, 2019. Yeah, so they had to go to the complete way back, and you just wonder, like, is that maybe what needs to happen for Kildare, like an absolute complete reset? Like, it'd be madness to see it, but you wonder if that's possibly on the cards, Matthew.
I don't think Kildare can afford to do that, to be honest with you. There was an excuse with Derry, to be fair. There was a lot of players travelling for AFL, and like Callum Brown was an example there. The obvious one was Conor Glass, travelling abroad, going to Australian rules, and they were doing things abroad. The difference is that Seamus pointed this out as well. James McGrath, Daniel Flynn. I don't see Tomas van Ingebrechten in this team either, so I don't know what's the story with him. Is he travelling? Like, that's the thing with Kildare, they're just not committing, and that's the problem with them. And it's really hard to judge this, because I remember the Kildare team back in 09-10. They were probably the most enjoyable team I've ever watched. The likes of Johnny Doyle, Dermot Earley, James Kavanagh, Alan Smith. They were good players. They were up at the standards of the likes of Danny Flynn, Darrell Kieran, Callum Bolt, and all them sorts of players. But the difference was commitment. They had the commitment. They'd do anything to die for the Kildare jersey. And Johnny Doyle, ironically, Johnny Doyle and Dermot Earley are both in the backroom team for Kildare. So it's just even more of a mystery. If you can't get up for those guys, can you get up for it at all? You know? So it's a really, really strange one for Kildare. But in regards to the Tactical Cup, I don't know, I'm doing a bit of calculation in my head now, but if Meath do go down, that means Down and Westmeath will not be in the Samagor. But then again, if Down reach the Ulster final by beating Armagh, which is quite a possibility there, then Cork, Kildare are in a lot of trouble. So, and obviously if they go down, they're definitely in the Tactical Cup. So you had to hence for them two counties in particular. I don't think so for Meath. We'll get on to Meath in a sec, but like for Cork, Kildare in particular, it's just absolutely dreadful at the moment. You don't know where the points are going to come from. You don't know where a performance is going to come from. And Kildare, especially, they're playing Armagh next in Carlow. They don't even have a home ground now in this division. That makes the situation even worse. So I don't know where Kildare come back from this. And even I had the privilege to watch them on Saturday, and I thought they were absolutely dreadful, especially that first half. And as well as that, in the second half, they made a very good start. 5 minutes into it, or in and around that time period, Kevin Feely gets a black card for complaining to the referee.